everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to be tasting the 2016 Guigal Côtes du Rhône. This is a red blend that comprises 50% Syrah, 40% Grenache, and 10% Mourvedre. The fun thing about these grapes is that they all kind of contribute a little bit something different to the blend. For instance, the Syrah is going to give it a little bit of a meatiness, a little bit of a smokiness to it, as well as some nice vibrant red fruit characteristics. The Grenache can offer a little bit of herbaceousness, some nice floral components, as well as even like an olivey component. And then Mourvedre is fairly well known for adding earthiness as well as mushroom or leather components. And when you put all these things together, you can end up with a really well-structured, very complex wine style. Etienne Guigal founded his winery making Syrah in the Côtes Rôti, which can be bloody, can be meaty, smoky, have nice red fruit characteristics, but always have this nice vibrance. The interesting thing about the Côtes Rôti is it's the northernmost area in France that is able to grow Syrah. So that vibrancy, that lightness that you can get out of Côtes Rôti Syrah is what makes it so unique and so beautiful. And Guigal has made a name for themselves doing it. They are one of the most iconic names coming out of that region. So it's a real treat to be able to try one of their wines. And this is what I was talking about earlier in the week about having access to wines in the Côtes du Rhône at relatively low price points that are of amazing value. As we discussed earlier in the week, this has been made in Château d'Ampuis, which is a spot in the Côtes Rôti, which is nestled right between the Rhône River and the sloped vineyards of Côtes Rôti. The views are absolutely spectacular. It's such a beautiful location. And as you tend southward further down the Rhône Valley, it really just kind of feeds into the beauty that is that area. Château d'Ampuis is this old castle that's been in that area for hundreds of years that Etienne Guigal acquired back in the early 90s and then rehabilitated it. They've got fountains, they've got the local gardens, and again, it just overlooks the river, and it's just such a prime position where you can see the slopes, you can see the river, and you kind of really get a sense of what that area is, and it's just filled with so much beauty. I really look forward to trying this for you, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. On the nose, I get these baked red fruits. I get really nice spicy characteristic, almost like spiced meat. I get fairly savory herbaceousness, but again, everything about the fruit characteristic on this wine seems to be kind of baked. So when you've got this baked fruit, this kind of smoked meat, along with these savory herbs, it kind of screams dinner to me. And this is a wine that you could easily pair with a lot of meat dishes, maybe like pork or beef or something along those lines. But it is a medium-bodied wine, so nothing overly fatty. In addition to these spicy floral and fruit components, I'm also getting this earthiness like truffles, forest floor, even like this limestone clay dustiness to it. So I mean, this is a very complex wine. You've got really vibrant fruit components that are even slightly baked. You've got this nice roasting spice, you've got the smoke, you've got this meatiness to it, this savory herbaceousness like rosemary or like wild brush, or even along the lines of like oregano. And then you've got this truffly, earthy component that honestly, when they all play together, it's just such a beautiful wine. And honestly, at the price point, I think it's something that's very special that you're going to experience. I'm going to go ahead and take a taste of it. I'm really excited about this. Oh yeah. Up front, you get a lot of those floral components. You still get that red fruit that's coming through, but without that lushness that you would get in the New World. You know, this is a very dry style. It's very typical of an Old World wine to have this dryness to it. And so I think this is no exception, that when you've got this fruit that kind of plays in with this floral component, some of those floral aspects almost tend to come out a little bit more. than these fruit components. So you get the fruit up front, but it almost kind of fades away, and then what you're left with is this really pretty red flowers, even some purple flowers in there as well. You get this herbaceousness. I get a little bit of that olivey characteristic, this smoked meat spice, which it's very pleasant, and then this truffle. Pretty much everything that I was experiencing on my nose, I'm experiencing on the palate too, and it just kind of carries through. And I can still taste it in my mouth. The finish on this wine is going on for a fair amount of time, and it just kind of is unraveling on my palate as well. You're getting a fair amount of tannin from the Mourvedre, a fair amount of structure. You're getting a fair amount of body from that Syrah, and then you've got this nice elegance that you're getting from the Grenache as well, and I think they play together fairly well, and it plays fairly well in balance. So I think all in all, this really shows how much of a technical master Guigal is when it comes to their wines, because they can release one of these lower end wines that still shows fairly beautifully with a fair amount of complexity as well. And even as I'm smelling it and tasting it now, I can tell that it's really starting to evolve and it's really starting to develop. I really look forward to seeing how this is going to play out, but I can already start to see how some of these components are starting to work together. That is just so beautiful. I don't think there's a whole lot more that I can say about this wine that I haven't already said without repeating myself over and over, but I hope you find that this is just as enjoyable as I have. I think if you can find anything from Guigal, you wouldn't be doing yourself a disservice by investing in any of their wines. They're just such beautiful wines. I'm so glad that I was able to share this wine with you today, and I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. If you have the chance, please share, subscribe, and I look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Cheers.